as everybody knows, Iran is situated on one of the most active earthquake zones in the world. You know, every year we have something like 6,000 earthquakes in Iran. The place where this Bushehr power station is being built is called Helliya. By pure chance, it was one of my first assignments as a cub reporter. In 1969, I was a young reporter, and there was an earthquake, and I was sent to cover it. And precisely in that place, they are building a nuclear power station. So when we objected, that was before the revolution, that it is absolute madness, you know, to go and put a nuclear power station on top of an earthquake. So they said, no, no, there are guarantees by Siemens that this is going to resist up to 7.2 on the Richter scale, and of course we have not had up to 7. But you know, the problem is that with the earthquake data that we have in Iran, they are historical, they are not geological. You know, we say because we started collecting these earthquake data after a big earthquake we had in Turut in Khorasan in 1952. So up to 1952, there hasn't been an earthquake bigger than 7 point in this area. So we are saying, but what if 1948? What is 1832? Because we don't know anything about the previous history. So this is an absolute ecological disaster that is being prepared, and it should be stopped if only on those grounds. The second problem is that because nuclear power stations require a lot of water, the government had to displace over 1,000 villages in the area, kick out all their population. And in this part of Iran as a whole is a very dry country, and this part is especially dry. So ruined the lives of thousands of families, rural families, kicked them out in order to steal their water for this power station. And then the refuse of this power station is poured into the Persian Gulf. Now, the Persian Gulf is a very narrow body of water. It's like a pond, really. Nowhere is it deeper than 90 meters. And where Helliya is situated, its depth is only 45 meters. So you can imagine this massive amount of nuclear refuse being poured into this narrow and closed body of water, because its only opening is the 32 kilometers of the Hormuz Strait to the Gulf of Oman. This is also, in my opinion, absolute madness from an ecological point of view. Now, economically, President Ahmadinejad says that oil is too good, that we should burn it, we should sell it at I don't know, $200 a barrel and so on. And of course, he predicted that oil will never again fall below 100. And of course, oil has fallen to 75 or something. So economically too, this doesn't make sense, because when the Bushehr plant is completed, it will provide about 4.5% of Iran's electricity needs. But a good part of it, because Iran electricity has a national grid, which was one of the mistakes made under the Shah, instead of local production. So a lot of electricity is lost in transmitting power in such a huge country. It's a country the size of Western Europe. So you spend so much money producing an electricity that, according to official estimates, is going to be at least 17% more expensive than the electricity you have already produced, and then lose a lot of it. There must be some other reason. The reason is not obviously not electricity, because it doesn't make sense. Iran has probably the second largest reserves of oil in the world, the second largest reserves of natural gas, enough to supply the whole of Europe for 4 centuries. We have lots of sunshine, we have a lot of wind, and of course we have a lot of wind bags as well. So there is absolutely no economic sense in this project, there must be some other reason, and some other reason is a frightening reason. I don't know if I still have time. Let me come to the claim that this nuclear program enjoys widespread support in Iran. People who say that, I always ask them, how do you know? Because in societies where there is no freedom, you don't know what people think. Maybe the Iranians love the bomb. You don't know. Maybe they don't love the bomb. But the fact is that this program has never been debated even in their own parliament, in the Islamic Majlis. I mean, the minimum is to have an open debate for it. The chap who is responsible come and explain why we are doing it, what we are doing. Then they will ask questions. So there will be some opening, at least, some transparency. Nothing appears about it in the media except slogans. The very crucial report produced by Tehran University in 2005, precisely warning against some of these things I said, and asking for a moratorium on this whole thing, saying, let's wait, postpone it for 4 years and study the matter further, and especially, they put the emphasis on what do we do with the spent fuel, because that's a big problem. You use the uranium, what do we do with it? And what do we do with the nuclear power station when it dies in 77.5 years? What are we going to do? Mothballing it or cocooning it, as they say, costs more than building it. And the idea of going to bury nuclear waste under the desert in the Kabir route in central Iran is also madness, because that's an earthquake zone, and you would have nuclear waste going in all directions with earthquakes. And mothballing this power station under pressure on another earthquake zone is madness. But this report was quickly suppressed. They mentioned a few things about it in the media, and then completely suppressed. Nobody was allowed any more access to it, and the person who conducted the team that wrote it, Dr. Elahi, fired from